And the gates to an old stomping ground. Today I'm visiting Penny Pasture Common. So Penny Pasture Common, you might not know where it is. Well, it's a Notts Wildlife Trust reserve, or part of it, and it is common land, which I think may mean that anybody can graze it. I'm not sure. Anyway, when I was bird watching the Eakring area, this was one of the main places of the two, Eakring Flash and here, and this was always good for a range of species. There's a chiffchaff that's just flown across if you want. But it was always good for it. It had one or two ring ouzel, numerous red starts, wheat ears and whinchats, and it was the best area or site within the recording area for red start and whinchat, although whinchat died out. They only ever occurred on passage, and seemed to think there was about 7 one day, which was a record count, and then went for years for nothing without one. There has been one this year apparently, but just here for a walk round. Although on a bird watching theme, this appears to have been the meadow pipit day, or as we used to say, mippet day, because there are some groups I've noticed flying high up, so it would have been a good morning for anyone that's out there vismigging. Anyway, we're going to walk that way. Shame it's a cloudy day, but it's incredibly mild. In fact, it's 20 degrees. Even with the cloud, the temperature last night didn't drop down much below 17 centigrade. And Penny Pasture Common is used for grazing. It's always been used for grazing. I don't think it's ever been ploughed. There's little evidence, or no evidence, of any ploughing in previous years. And it's a grassy area that is grazed. It used to be grazed about once a year at one time, usually in the autumn. And it does get, parts of it do get cut by the looks of the rushes. And there is hawthorn scrub across the site, and that was where you would look for red starts. Although with red starts, you would always hear them first. And that's a chiffchaff that's just called. But it was always one of those sites, every time you got out of the car. I mean, the hedge on the left, in 1997, it was no higher than this tripod, at 4 foot. And now look at it. But it was a site I always approached with excitement, because you never knew what was going to be here. A lot of the time there was nothing, but had stonking views of short-eared owl, long-eared owl, and many species. Some good days plodding around here. Well, some more meadow pipits knocking around overhead. We'll see what we can find. Well, I was surprised to see some water here. I thought that maybe the water was no more, but there's traditionally always been an area of water here. Oh, there's a snipe just come up, look, and there's a heron just come up. 2 snipe. Snipe were one of the key birds here, but also was the smaller snipe, jack snipe. You were pretty much guaranteed jack snipe here, and in two areas. Usually just, it was more open, the water, there was none of this. There's so much sort of reeds and rushes that have grown, but it was just one big area of open water. It was never deep. Always attracted a lot of teal during the winter months, and snipe. And if you walked around through all these sedges and rushes, you would flush numerous snipe, and occasionally you would flush jack snipe, which are a small migratory wader that you have to pretty much step on in order to flush. And there was a one spot just on the left and just in the foreground here where you could flush jack snipe, but often it was from just to the right of the camera here. There's another snipe, look. But the best area was just the far side where the snipe has just flown over, just where it sort of juts out into the water and the taller sedges are, and that would be the best spot. But I say, you had to pretty much tread on jack snipe to get them to shift. And I thought, because the last few years that I'd come here, I thought the water looked as though it hadn't been there'd been any water in here for a long time, and I thought maybe it had stayed dry, but thankfully it hasn't. So we'll have a walk around here and see if we can still get through the other side where those tall willows are, the other side there. And there's 15 teal come up, and another 2 snipes. That's 5 snipe. There's the teal just flying across there, and another snipe. That's 6. Oh, and another one, 7. Bit early for jack snipe, really. You'd be looking at October to start wading through for jack snipe. There's actually a nice bit of shoreline here, plus an older leaf beetle. There's a snipe just coming back in, and there's one just going. There was never a great deal of shoreline unless it was nearly dry. Occasionally attracted other waders. Green shank here once that I can remember, and green sandpiper. But it's a really good habitat for snipe now, and jack snipe. I'm now stood at the opposite end, the northwestern end, to where I came through the gates, and here we're facing more or less east. It's sort of east southeast-ish. It's just a shame we didn't have a bit of blue sky. And on this left hand side, on this down by the fence line, there's the beck, which runs from Eakring and goes right through and joins up with the Trent at some point. Well, quiet on the invertebrate front. There's some bird passage. There's a flock of 28 siskins went through, which is a good siskin flock on migration by any standards. And there's a trickle of meadow pipits, handful of house martins just gone through. They do forecast it to brighten up in a bit, which would be nice. But there's other days we can come back and we can look at this place and I can reminisce fondly about times and visits before. It's past half an hour on, if no tells.